She's back, boys. And happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the Indicator Profile series. We have another Constance Brown indicator, the Derivative Oscillator, this week. She did us really good the first time. Let's see if she can replicate that success. Before we start, understand, if you're new, welcome to the #1 indicator channel in all of YouTube. It's always been that way. It is always going to be that way. However, we talk and do things a very certain way. And if you don't know what those ways are, you're going to be lost. So go to nononsenseforex.com. Read that first page. Watch that first video and get started and get caught up to the rest of us. For those who are caught up, let's take a look at the specs for the Derivative Oscillator. The year is going to be 1994. This is a couple years before the 1996 and on cutoff that we like to see here on the channel. However, if I recall correctly, anytime we do an indicator between 1990, 1994, in that kind of range, it's always done us pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and try it anyway. The type is going to be a confirmation indicator. Subtype, I'll just say it's a histogram because that's what it is. You'll see it in just a moment. And as far as exit indicators go, I would not like it for my own exit indicator, but feel free to try it yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Derivative Oscillator. It looks like this. There's your histogram. Pretty easy to see when price goes from being, or I'm sorry, when the histogram goes from being under the zero line to just above the zero line, or even more above the zero line. Doesn't matter. Whenever it flips negative to positive like this, that is going to be your signal to go long. It looks like in this particular case, it got you in really early, so that's nice. And then when it does the opposite, when it goes from positive over to negative, that is your signal to go short. Now, if you ever have one of these really small bars, or it's almost zero, and you can't quite tell if it's positive or negative, you can always go over here, and it should show a positive or negative value, or you can just hover over it, and it will do that for you. Extremely easy. This indicator itself is very, very easy to read, and we like that. But we like good results even better. So let's go ahead and see how this performed. Before we do that, understand, even if it performed great, or even if it performs very poorly, that doesn't matter. All that matters is how it performs in your system, because that's where your trading account is. So you need to make sure that that is the very next thing you do. Now, if you don't know how to do that, we show you how. Down in the links below, I give you a link to my automation blog that has an embedded video showing you how to test these yourself on the MT4 strategy tester. That video is run by Dan Stone of Stonehill Forex, and also down below in the show notes is a link to Dan's indicator blog. Every indicator we do here has a corresponding blog with the tweaked settings that you're about to see on the results. In this particular indicator, there are a lot of settings you can use. So you're going to need to know which ones matter, which ones don't, and which ones we used to even get close to the results we got. So as always, mandatory viewing after this video is done. Or before you do that, you can go straight to Dan's actual YouTube channel, because he also does a video for every indicator we do on the Indicator Profile series. If you would like to see it move in real time to show it doesn't repaint, if you'd like some bonus information, that's where you're going to go next. And if you want to submit an indicator for the Indicator Profile series, there is a specific email for that. So make sure you're using that and not my comment section. And then, of course, the most popular place in all the internet, it's the indicator library. We can download this indicator and every indicator we have done here on the Indicator Profile series. Let's go ahead and take a look at the EURUSD and see how this thing performed. I will let you know that numbers are going to be a bit blurry. That's my fault. I will read them off to you if you're having a hard time seeing them. So on the EURUSD, very good. We have 9% here with an 80% win-loss ratio on 30 trades. That is really good, strong numbers across the board. This is what I like to see. Less so on the 4-hour, where you have 3.25%. Now, you're going to notice, at least on this indicator, if you guys remember, for the longest time, we had the 4-hour charts just killing it, doing so much better than the daily. That is no longer the case, at least not for the indicators we test. But that's fine. So for all you 4-hour traders out there, I would not worry about this, because markets are just cyclical. If you guys have learned anything by seeing these tests over the last years, they're really good sometimes, and then they fall off, and then they come right back. So just remember that going forward. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is really, really good. I like anything over 30% here is great. Less on the win-loss ratio, but you're getting a decent amount of trades too. which is nice for more active gold traders. We have given gold traders mostly indicators to where after we tweak them, the number goes down and sometimes down quite a bit. But if you like to trade gold more actively, and it would make sense if you do because most metals traders, we're only trading 4 pairs, sometimes 2, sometimes 1. So this could be something you really, really like here. On to the S&P and indices traders, we are sorry. We couldn't get anything better than a 3.5% on the daily out of this one, and then a 4 on the 4 hour. Something you might want to still test for yourself, but just know that if you want to go back to other episodes, we have shown you way, way better indicators than this. Finishing off with Bitcoin. Now, 25%, which is what we have, is pretty good, but we have shown you much, much better. Now, we've noticed in the last couple weeks, and we've also noticed in some of the indicators we've been testing for future episodes, Bitcoin should be giving us much higher numbers than this, but it hasn't been. It's been giving us lower numbers than we normally see. Not sure why that is, but as we said before, these things are cyclical. We might have to go a little while with having lower results, but they should pop back at some point. But that's a good little takeaway for this episode. If you are starting to see lower numbers, for example, on certain pairs, take some of the indicators that we have shown you in the past that gave you really, really great numbers and test them now. See if those numbers have gone down. If they have, then yes, it's probably just the market. And as we all know, anybody with any experience knows these markets have a tendency to dip and treat us poorly, but then sooner than later come back around and treat us well again. It's just how it is. But if there's one thing you do, that would be to give us a like and subscribe and hit the bell. It's a very uncertain financial future out there. I think you guys are finally starting to feel it. You guys are finally starting to see what we've been talking about for a long time. So you need this channel. We have the Trading Psychology podcast every other Monday, Indicator Profile series every other Wednesday, blogs sometimes on Thursdays. There will not be one tomorrow. I'm out of town. And then the 10-Minute Contrarian podcast every Saturday. No matter what this world throws at you, we have you covered. Traders, go get it.